If you're going to be stepping into sales, my recommendation is finding somewhere you're comfortable with, finding a product that you can truly believe in. Because if you don't truly believe in that product and the company that you're working for or the service that you're providing, the homeowner is automatically going to know that you're after a paycheck. I feel like fear holds people back quite a bit. No, I'm not saying just go up and leave your job, quit it, and you'll find something. But if you're not happy where you are, you have to search your heart, truly, your brain, your mind. Why are you not happy there? What would you rather be doing? Like last year, I'm not scared to admit it. I missed my mark, and it's one of those things where you don't dwell on that. You set a BHAG, which is your crazy go, and then you set your conservative go. You reach for that BHAG. If you don't hit that BHAG, you still hit your conservative go. You're still winning. You're not losing. Just picking up the phone and making a quick phone call. It takes 5 minutes, if that, to do that. I've seen my close rate increase by at least 3% on that.
I feel that most marketing agencies or marketers itself, even they are in-house, they have complicated branding and marketing so much that companies are, in 1 month, they are trying this, and next month they are trying something else. However, branding and marketing are the easiest thing that you can do as a company, because all it takes is that you just have to show up and you have to tell people that this is who we are. These are the things that we stand for. These are the things that make us different from all the competition. And if you still have any doubt or any obstacles in your way of working with us, this is our guarantee, or this is our offer that kicks out all these obstacles, and you can simply work with us.
Now, content that, look at this big roof I completed, look at this big roof I completed. It's about throwing out content that can actually be helpful to someone trying to make a decision. Because you can Google the word roof, and going down the line, you will see within the first 5 minutes 10 different opinions on roofing, right? And when it comes to someone that has absolutely no idea about a roofing system, it can get very confusing very quickly. So,
Top 3 recommendations in terms of books that you would give to someone who is in roofing sales.
Books. So it would be Emotional Intelligence 2.0. I noticed a huge turnaround in responses from insurance companies on claims with using Chat GPT, and the options with that is unlimited.
I'm guessing that you are saying that the turnaround gets higher when you are using ChatGPT in your claims, right? Any signing off notes or advice that you would like to give to anyone who is listening or watching to this episode?
Never quit learning, because I feel like you can cap yourself where you're at if you try to quit learning.
Hey everyone, welcome to the latest episode of the Roofing Millionaire Podcast, the only roofing podcast where we don't sell you anything and we don't promote anyone. Today, we are sitting down with Leah Schwartz from Landmark Roofing, and Leah shares how she started her journey in roofing as a receptionist and then transitioned into a sales specialist. Plus, we have also talked about how you can maximize the gains from sales reps in your roofing business, and how you can use artificial intelligence to get easy approvals on your insurance claims. This episode is filled with insights on sales, content creation, and how you can get the best out of your day being a sales rep in roofing. Let's dive in. Welcome to the Roofing Millionaires Podcast, Leah. It's great to have you on the show. We are recording this episode on the very last day of January 2025. So I want to ask you, how's been the first month for you so far?
Yeah, honestly, I'm happy to be here to start off. It's a great day. January 2025 has been great for me so far. I've been having a record month for January. Usually they say January is pretty slow for sales, but I hit over 100,000 this month, so great start to the new year for me.
And you're working as a sales specialist at Landmark Roofing, right?
I am correct. Yep, I've been doing sales for about 7 years now.
And as far as I know, it's your brother's company. So what's the story behind Landmark Roofing? Like, how did it begin?
Yeah, so it's an interesting story. I mean, to me, actually. So my father's owned a construction business for 40 years this year. Our family, grew up in the Amish. In the Amish, you graduate school at 15. So we all, graduated school and went straight into the construction industry. And my brother, he just had this business mind frame. So he started Landmark Roofing in 2015. And I originally started out as an office receptionist, but I'm a go-getter. I can't sit still for very long. I did that for about a year, and one day he was like, I think you'd make a great sales rep. We're going to put you in sales. So here we are.
And how was the transition from being receptionist to being a sales specialist?
It was a little different. I definitely think the customer experience starting out as a receptionist was great for me, but actually transitioning over to it, the first few weeks, it was a little struggle for me because you have that experience behind the desk, behind the phone, but then you have to get used to being actually face to face with the customer.
And I think that's a different kind of environment because you are facing homeowners directly, you have to face their objections, and you have this sales pressure on you as well. So, as you said, that your brother asked you to step into sales. So, how did you handle that pressure, or did you face that in the first place?
And well, I think I still want to say that I'm still trying to learn how to handle that. I think it's I'm trying to put it into words, but it's a whole new mindset. I say the word mindset very, very cautiously, but you have to learn how to allow those objections to basically not take it personally. And I think
Uh-huh.
anyone in sales kind of understands what I'm talking about there. You know,
Okay.
when you're
And
sitting behind a
uh-huh.
sorry, go ahead. When you're sitting
Uh,
behind a desk, you get a phone
uh,
call in, and ultimately, I'm not in no means putting a receptionist in an easy job frame, but like, you pass those phone calls on. Whereas with the project estimator position being in front of them, while you're there in the moment, you can't necessarily pass those on. So you have to learn how to control your emotions while you're in the moment. And I think that was one of the hardest things for me.
and how did you learn that?
Boy, I'm
Was
still
there any
learning it.
training or process? Uh-huh.
Yes, I'm still learning it. There's a process. I don't know. Many people know Chuck Toki. I follow a lot of Chuck Toki. His objection handling process is very great, helped me tremendously. And we still get our good days and we still get our bad days.
And speaking of challenges, I feel that most salespeople, if they are ethical and if you have that values and you know that your service is great, it automatically gets reflected into your conversations as well. You speak to your homeowners with the sense of responsibility and you know that you are delivering something of value. And how do you see that most salespersons in roofing, they are doing door to doors and at times they just are chasing the sales rather than delivering value. What are your thoughts on that?
So, excuse me, if you're going to be stepping into sales, my recommendation is finding somewhere you're comfortable with, finding a product that you can truly believe in. Because if you don't truly believe in that product and the company that you're working for or the service that you're providing, the homeowner is automatically going to know that you're after a paycheck. You can try and hide it as much as you want. Your face doesn't lie. I've seen reps that are after paychecks become pushy sales reps. I don't think they know that they're doing it. It just kind of comes across that way. So if you're getting into sales, definitely find a structure that you can follow. Like I said, I follow Chuck Toki. So find a structure that you can follow, study up on that, get as much practice in as you possibly can. And by practice, I mean role play, following that instructor as closely as possible. Look at someone in sales that you maybe look up to, maybe ask them for advice. But I definitely think it comes down to finding something that you truly believe in and chasing after that.
I agree with you on that. And however, I also feel that whenever you are starting out in sales, there are conversations that you miss as well. And later on, you realize that, okay, you could have said this instead of that, and that would have closed the deal. Did that happen with you as well?
Really, that happens to me quite often. It's so easy. I mean, especially for me, it's so easy when you're inside of that appointment. You know what you need to do to get the appointment done. Sometimes your brain just runs a little bit faster than your body. And when you walk out of there and you don't have the sale in your brain, it's a paradigm. That paradigm is trying to take you back to the point, I should have done this, I should have done this, and I should have done this. But the next appointment, instead of focusing on one certain thing and missing the next 5 steps that you're supposed to hit, focus on the here and now. And don't dwell on the point that you missed in that last appointment. Because I can tell you, the more you focus on that one certain thing that you missed, you're going to start missing maybe something in your pitch. Because your mind is going to be so wrapped around that one certain point. It's just the way the human brain works, honestly, that it's just going to continue going and you're going to get flustered and you're going to lose yourself, basically.
That's good answer. And yeah, I feel that when you are too focused on the problem, you stop looking for the solutions, and actually you stop looking into the things that the homeowner is saying, because oftentimes people are saying stuff. If you can just pick their words, you can find and you can dig into their problems, right?
Correct.
You have
And
to be an active listener. Yeah.
Yes. And if you cannot find that pain solution, if you don't know the problem to their pain, you're never going to find that solution. You can easily talk yourself out of a sale. I myself am guilty of that. You get a homeowner that you're really, really comfortable with, and before you know it, you're in their house talking, and like an hour's gone by, and you haven't even started discussing the job yet. And then once you actually start discussing it, you kind of forget, not that you forget, but your mind loses this track of, okay, this is what I'm here for. This is what I need to do. And you talk about so many things, and then that's where the confusion starts to set in with the homeowner as well.
And you know what? Most of the times people are giving signals that you have to catch in order to make the sale. For example, if a homeowner asks you about the kind of materials you will be using on their home. Now, it isn't about the materials. It's about something that they faced in the past that is leading them to ask this question. And you just have to dig in, like, why you are asking this, or what's the reason behind this question. And once you dig into that, you will find that 5 years later, before or 3 years ago, someone screwed up the job for them. And that's why they are concerned now. So it's not the materials, it's actually the emotion behind that objection that you need to handle.
Yes, no, I 100% agree with that, because, you can try to sell your product all you want. There are many, many great products in the industry right now on the market. And I think anyone can sell any one of those products, but you basically have to sell yourself. I 100% agree with that, because if that homeowner does not have the comfortableness behind that product, there's nothing there. If they don't have the trust there, there's nothing there. Quite frankly, I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think 90% of the homeowners don't really care what kind of product they're getting on their house. They care about who's installing that product and who they're going to have standing behind them once that product is actually installed.
No, you are actually right on this, because every roofer says that we have the best quality, we have the best materials, and we have the best service. If every roofer has that, then who are these roofers who mess up these jobs? And at the end of the day, if you can just present yourself in the right way and show up the values that you stand for, you win the project. And I feel that most people don't care about the materials. I agree with you on that. However, I do feel that the good guys are responsible, because they need to show up and they need to guide the homeowners in order to make the best decisions. Because I personally feel that if someone goes for a cheaper bid and you are the one who did quote on that project as well, but you didn't get the job, it's because you weren't able to show your value. That's why the homeowner picked the wrong guy. And a part of that mistake needs to be owned by you as well. So how can someone actually win those deals and actually deliver value to the homeowner so they can be satisfied? Okay, I did my best. Now, if they chose the cheapest bid and they fucked up their roof, then it's up on to them. But I did my best. And most people don't do that.
That's 100% accurate. And like I said, it comes down to you have to believe in your product and in your company enough that you can provide that information to that homeowner. All giving that homeowner the best that you possibly can. And you walk out of that appointment and you're like, man, I should have done this. I should have done this. I should have done this. Don't beat yourself up about it. We all make mistakes. And it comes down to are you going to stay in that certain situation, or are you going to take that as a learning curve? Are you going to walk into the next appointment and try to better yourself? I don't care if you just try to better yourself 1% each appointment. At least you're trying to better yourself for that homeowner.
Okay. And I was reading your bio, or there was an Instagram post by you in which you were mentioned that you don't love 9 to 5. That's why you stepped into sales and you're enjoying it. That raised a question in my mind that it's your brother company, Leah, and you can make the transition. However, if someone like me, like I am working my ass off in a company and I'm not enjoying the job, but I have a family to feed as well. Now I cannot just leave this position and transition into that. How can someone find, because you are in your 20s, I am in your 20s as well. How do you feel someone can find their groove?
The groove. Oh boy. Yeah. So I don't have, I have family, but I'm single. And so decisions for me, I feel, are easy, so to speak. But to find your groove, I think it truly leads down to where your heart is, where you're happy. I feel like fear holds people back quite a bit. No, I'm not saying just go up and leave your job, quit it, and you'll find something. But if you're not happy where you are, you have to search your heart, truly, your brain, your mind. Why are you not happy there? What would you rather be doing? And finding, taking the leap to step out and actually look for something else where you think you would be happy. And I would definitely, from my standpoint of view, I wouldn't step out of a job without having another job lined up, so to speak. But there are endless opportunities in this world. The opportunities, especially in the roofing industry themselves, it's beyond amazing to me. And I feel like the world is too big to stay somewhere where you're not happy. Finding your groove also can come down to maybe you like your job. Maybe you can't think of anything else you would rather be doing. You have to find something that you can keep yourself motivated with. So on the side of sales, I train horses, I ride horses, I rodeo professionally. I have something, like many people have something to go home to, like their family, their children, their wives, their girlfriends. If I have a bad day at work, and I don't consider it work because I enjoy what I do, but say I have a bad day at work. I come home, I'm tired from the objections. My brain is, busy minded. I can go back and ride a horse and just have a relaxing time. I think it comes down to kind of finding that happy medium of, am I truly tired? Am I truly not happy where I'm at? Or do I just need something for a few hours to blow off some steam?
Okay, you still have bad days, and everyone has that. I do that. However, I feel that people are just trying to avoid pain and anxiety, and they just want to, live in this illusion 24/7 that if you feel that way, or if you feel emptiness, then you need to step out of this. However, no matter what you do, no matter which job you have, you will still have a bad day and you will still feel that something is going wrong. And when I am enjoying my job or my days, I'll still look at someone else and I'd say that, okay, if I were them, I would be enjoying my life better. I think it all comes down to how content you are within yourself, and the gratitude you have for the things that you have in your life. Plus, finding your groove, I feel that if you can do something every single day for the rest of your life, that is the thing you should pursue your career in, even if it's making you less money right now, but it can lead you towards having a fulfilled life. What do you say?
I agree with that. And my coach, Sean Poyer, he would love this conversation right now. So I definitely think it comes down to it's an inner problem. It would say it's an issue, not an issue. And that's something Sean said a few days ago, and that's something that really stuck out to me because every person, I don't care who you are, every person has this fear of, am I enough? Am I enough? And I think that's where a lot of the issues from the inside out start to stem from because, am I enough can lead to, oh, I'm not enough. So then I'm not enough can lead into, I can't do this anymore. When you're in these certain areas of having a bad day, so to speak, the, um, don't dwell on the feeling of the thing that so easily besets you. Keep your mind on the feeling of basically winning, so to speak. Keep your mind on how you feel when you had the best day, when you closed 3 out of 3 jobs. And you would be amazing how just keeping that mindset of, remember, I throw the word mindset out there very loosely, but you keep that mindset, that general mindset of enoughness instead of scarcity. Because I feel like scarcity can take over very, very easily, and it never really leads to a good place.
I feel that human minds works best when you have this sword over you, hanging over you, when you have this fear of something, or when you are in a pressurized situation. That's when you do the best work.
I think that could be a motivation, a big motivation, because there's a cloud over your head. You know that you have to make a decision, but that can also lead back to the scarcity. Because if your brain is constantly dwelling over this one thing that's hanging over your head and it consumes you, pretty soon you're not going to be able to think of anything else. No matter which direction you take, no matter you turn left, turn right, go straight, that cloud is still going to be there. So it depends on how big the cloud is. I don't know if that's the right terminology for it, but that can definitely lead to, back to the scarcity. I mean, for me, anyhow, that's how it would work because I'm the type that if I have something weighing on my mind, I will sit there and dwell on it until I get it taken care of. And until I actually get it taken care of and get that fogginess from my brain, I really can't focus and put my true potential, my true energy into what actually needs to be done in life.
Okay, what I got from you is that you are saying that if you channelize your energies and you know what to focus upon, you can handle anything. And even if there's a cloud on your head, you can still focus on the solutions. And what I feel is that the biggest skill someone can have in this decade or the next is to know where to spend their energies. And when you were saying about these clouds over your head, I was thinking that you are into a family business and you must have seen your brother or your family when this landmark roofing was starting out, or when you were just growing. Bad phases must have come as well. How did you see your brother as a leader handling all of these things? Because in all these previous episodes I had, or even myself, I am a company owner. Oftentimes, I cannot tell my team that I am facing this, I'm facing that, or I am down as well, because you have to kind of motivate your team and you have to just be the source of strength for them. But it was in your family, and you must have seen your brother facing all of those hard phases. How was that experience for you and for him, or for the company overall?
Yeah, so I think it was a very humbling experience, seeing my brother growing up with him and seeing him turn into a boss and then actually being a brother. And one thing I truly appreciate, when I started selling for him, I told him, listen, I don't care that I'm your sister. I want to be treated the way the rest of the project estimators, sales reps, whoever, I want to be treated the same way you would treat them. I don't want special treatment just because I'm your sister. And seeing him navigate seeing him navigate that path of decision making throughout the years, it was very humbling, because he's definitely morphed into one of those guys that thinking before he speaks. Like I said earlier, something I struggle with as well. But transitioning from that brother mind frame to I'm your boss, this is how it's going to be, and actually give him props for being able to handle himself in that way and not allowing his feelings to rule over the company.
Was there any time when the road did get tougher and when the stuff was not going so well, and like who shows up in your family for your brother or for yourself?
My journey, so it's probably our sales manager, Leroy. He's my brother-in-law. To have someone there to pick you up and say, listen, we're in this as a team. We're not in this as I'm better than you, I'm selling more than you. If one rep or one person in the company is down, so to speak, in performance, anything like that, to have that family-orientated vibe that everyone is there for you. So yeah, for me, it would probably be my manager, Leroy, my coach, Chuck and Sean. And for Perry, I'm assuming that it's his wife. you know, there's a certain extent where, if your boss is having a bad day and then your boss is having a really bad day, to him, he does really well with not bringing that vibe into the company and holding us all up and holding us accountable, even on his worst of days. That's one thing that I really look up to him for, is when he's having a bad day, it's just like any other day. And I mean, I know him personally. He's my brother. I know him very well. So I can usually pinpoint those days. But I feel like for the rest of the company, not to brag or anything, I feel like they would have a lot harder time pinpointing that.
And actually, it's great to have such people around you, because most people, uh, they don't like mixing family with business. And I feel that it's wrong, because if your family has people that you can blindly trust, and you have set boundaries for every relationship, that, okay, once we are in the office, we are no longer our family. We have to deal it like a business, and only then we can succeed. It makes the job easier for you. And ultimately, these are the family businesses that win in the longer run.
Yeah, I 100%. And I think it all comes down to love. If you truly have that bond there and you truly love that person, are you going to let a job get in between you, basically? And like you said, it's the differentiating the personal to the work industry. So I'm going to go on a little rabbit trail here. We are a family of 6, 3 boys and 3 girls. And my 3 brothers, all 3 own their own company. So my one brother does a woodworking company. My other brother owns a roofing company. My other brother owns a roofing company. And we're all in the same area. And then, of course, we have my dad, who's still installing roofs as we speak. So we often get asked, once people figure out that these 2 larger companies in our area were related and were related so closely, we often get asked, like, how do you guys, like, not fight? How do you guys, like, do you know that they sewed that roof and you had a bid on this roof too? Like, how does that jibe? And honestly, like I said, it comes down to love. You have to learn how to just separate those and when you get together at a family gathering, don't be like, "Hi, I took that roof away from you." Like, no, we're all in this together. And honestly, it's kind of amazing, because for our family, I feel like it's honestly brought us closer together as a family than driven us apart.
Okay. I have a question for you, that both of your brothers have a roofing company. Do they have any kind of competition or anything between them as well?
Competition-wise, I feel like there's a little bit of a competition there, but no. So my one brother, he worked out of Landmark Roofing office for about a year, just so he was just starting his company and we wanted to support him there. So we actually left him work out of our office and run his company out of our office. And so I feel like there's always going to be that little bit of competition there to spur each other on. Nothing that is like, I don't know how to say it. Nothing that is like, oh, I sold more than you this year. There's never been
Well,
anything like that.
that's a good thing, actually, because at the end of the day, you have to realize that everyone has their own journey. I see most bosses and most business owners, when someone from their company wants to open their own company or wants to transition into their own business, they don't support them. They even try to cut corners, and they just want that, okay, I am here. You just need to be here. You can come here, but you cannot come there. You cannot surpass me, and you cannot go far higher from where I am. And that feeling comes from a place of scarcity, as you said that, because I cannot accept someone who is lower than, or let's just say it this way, that someone who is my subordinate in my company having their own business and having a better life than me and accomplishing things that I cannot do, and I just can't see them achieving all of that. So I just try to restrict them here.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, even if one brother were to pass the other, we would clap each other on the back and say, good job. How did you do it? Because we would like to raise our numbers like that, and yeah, like you said, that leads back to the scarcity and inside issue, because you know that there's something that not hindered, but something that slowed the company down, that they were able to raise above you like that. And I'm sure you would have these questions of how did it happen? And then once that question arises, it just goes from there.
And it comes down to the goals that people have as well. For example, I am hiring someone and he tells me that my goal is to earn like 2 million per year, and my company's goal is just 500,000 per year. Now he is thinking far ahead of me. There are two options for me now. Either I work with him and I tell him, okay, I'm going to get you to that 2 million, but here's my goal. My goal is to get our company to 5 million. Once we hit that, you are automatically going to your 2 million. Or the other way is I just let him set free, because I know that he has a bigger goal than mine and I cannot help him achieve that anyway. Speaking of that, one thing I have noticed is that roofing companies don't have sales goal. They do have, like, if you ask a roofing company owner, they would tell you that, okay, I'm 2 million right now. My goal is to get to 5 million or 4 million or 3 million this year. I want to double my revenue. But when you ask them how, they don't have any answer for that. How do you set targets and goals for the year, and how do you achieve them?
Yeah, so we set target goals yearly, correct? And how to achieve those is basically getting everyone on, working together as a team. And like last year, I'm not scared to admit it, I missed my mark. And it's one of those things where you don't dwell on that. You set a BHAG, which is your crazy goal, and then you set your conservative goal. You reach for that BHAG. If you don't hit that BHAG, you still hit your conservative goal. You're still winning. You're not losing. And we actually try to break it down into weekly and monthly. So at the end of the month, if we know we hit that goal, team bonding, things like that. But if you're wondering how we do as far as lead sources, kind of knock doors, advertisements, word of mouth. I think word of mouth is the best way to get leads in the industry. Referrals. I mean, I feel like you can pay so much in advertising nowadays, but it comes down to the work you do and the people that you have on your team, like we discussed earlier.
And I actually agree with you, because if you don't have that quality product, like you just said, then it's actually wrong to put all the burden on sales reps and expecting them to close deals if you don't have any solid things to back that up, and if you don't have any solid service to back that up. And what I see in most companies is that they hire sales reps, assign them territories, and they just let them sink or swim. And they feel that, okay, the sales rep would get me the jobs. However, you don't have any process. You don't train them. And at the end of the day, you don't have a reputation as well. For example, if I go and knock a door and the homeowner actually haven't even heard about me ever in their entire life, they would like I'll need more time to convince them, or I'll be chasing that homeowner. Compared to this, if I knock at a door and the homeowner has either have their neighbor done roofs by me, or they have seen my advertising on their mobile maybe, or they are like part of my email community or anything, that adds instant credibility and your conversions increase so much.
Yeah, I definitely think you can get some companies like that. It comes down to salespeople are viewed as salespeople, right? So they're viewed as they make way too much money, B, they're lazy. Okay. Some of that is true. Some of that is true. Salespeople can be very, very lazy. And it comes down to as well as walking into that homeowner's house, whether you have future connection or previous connection or past connection with them or not. It comes down to having that system of walking into that homeowner's house and viewing them as a friend and making them a friend. And not just walking in there, oh, you're another sale, we're going to install this roof, I'm going to sell you, and I'm going to walk out with a paycheck. So, like, my process is that once I get a lead, whether it's self-generated or whether it's through the company, I'm going to make an initial connection with that homeowner before they even see me. So I'm going to give them a phone call, maybe just talk about the project, talk about the day, and just familiarize yourself with them. And the company has a lot to do with it. Like, the company 100% has things to do with it. But if you're in that company looking at it as you're on your own sales team, if that makes sense, then that alone is going to hinder you in those areas.
Follow-ups have great power in them. So what would you suggest to someone, or what follow-up process should someone follow in roofing, or what's working for you?
100% follow-ups easily get shoved out the back door because, like I said, salespeople are lazy. They're too lazy to pick up the phone and make the phone call. So what my process would be is around a day to 2 days um, after the initial inspection or after the initial quoting, what I'm going to do is pick up the phone, give the homeowner a phone call, and just say, hey, do you have any questions on this? Some of them in the appointment will even tell you and be honest with you, they have other proposals coming in. There's hundreds and hundreds of rebuttals on that. But when you're in the initial appointment, you get the feeling that if I pressure this homeowner, um, we're going to lose the sale altogether. I would have a better chance of letting this homeowner rest, let them get the other proposal because I have a great connection with them, and following up with them. Just picking up the phone and making a quick phone call. It takes 5 minutes, if that, to do that. I've seen my close rate increase by at least 3% on that. And right after the appointment, the same day, I send out thank you cards. Letting the homeowners know that you are appreciative of them. They're not just another roof to you, maybe another set of gutters. It comes down to the motivation behind it, and just actually getting yourself into that routine of this is what I got to do. I do a lot of block scheduling on my calendar. So if you have to block your day off for like 2 hours just to get that done, if you write things down, you're more apt to get it done. But if you're not doing follow-ups with your homeowners, give it a try. It's not going to happen automatically, but you will see your close rates increase by doing. Highly recommend it.
And how important do you feel is CRM in all this process?
CRMs, we use AccuLinks. If I wouldn't have AccuLinks, I would not. I would use a standard calendar, but AccuLinks, you can set tasks for yourself. You can put a priority on those tasks, high or low. Depending on what you set that priority at, you're going to get more notifications. And keeping those homeowners separated for you, so you can say, this is a lead, this is a prospect I've already quoted, I've got to follow up. And you can even set daily reminders for yourself. Hey, you need to check in with this homeowner 3 days after you quoted them. If you're a high revenue company and you're putting on, so we put on 900 roofs this year. If you're putting on well over 100 roofs a year, I definitely recommend a CRM system to help you keep track because, everybody gets busy, everybody forgets things. And I've already seen some homeowners basically fall in the cracks, so to speak. So it's not that you forget about that homeowner, but it slips your mind.
Yeah, and you can't be lazy. You are right. If you're not following up or if you are not reminding yourself of the opportunity, you are letting someone else take that. And in the industry, what's happening right now is that a lot of these things are actually getting automated with AI and even the CRMs. They are creating so many automations. For example, I use Go High Level, and you can even automate completely the follow-ups for 20 days, 60 days, 90 days. You are in constant touch with that opportunity. All you have to do is to just take one action, and you have to put that lead into that funnel, and that will automatically set everything up. And you can't be lazy now because the opportunity is there. You are right. And if you don't do that, if you don't have a CRM and if you don't automate things, you will ultimately lose to the competition or the companies who are doing so. However, you said that you send those thank you notes to the homeowners. I feel that a lot of actually comes down to customer service too, because the kind of experience you create for your customers is the thing that everyone is looking for. For example, I can prepare my best pitch. I can have my best script. I can read the brain of the homeowners like a magician. I can still lose the sale because I failed to create that experience that leads them in choosing me. And that's what you create by when you care about those people, when you know that, okay, if they are in connection with me, they should at least remember me, that this was the person, or Leah was the person who showed up, even if I did not hire her, but she is my trusted advisor. And if you're a trusted advisor, they would hire you.
Right, right. Yeah, you can walk into any home with all these big fancy terms and fancy words, but at the end of the day, it comes down to what is setting you apart. What is setting not only you, but what is setting your company apart that is going to stick out to these homeowners, that they're going to feel that comfortableness with you, that it basically kind of creates a little draw there because they have the typical homeowner will get 3 proposals. And all 3 of those reps are going to come in there. They're going to have a different system. They're going to have a different product. They're going to have a different way they do things. But what are you as a person going to do when you step foot? I mean, even as from the time that you get that lead, as I explained it, what are you going to do different that sets you apart from all of these other contractors out there that is going to make that homeowner feel that connection with you? And honestly, I used to think that it started at the door of the home when you knock on that door for that lead. But that's not true. It comes down to the first time that you ever see that homeowner's name. What's the first thought you have about that homeowner? I like to do my research on a home before I show up to it. What's your first thought of that home? This is a huge house. I'm going to get the sale. I'm going to be the top rep of the month. It literally comes down to the first initial thought. And because that first initial thought, it can lead you a long ways. So one thing that a lot of reps complain about is small leads. Say you get a gutter repair, right? Are you thankful for that? Or are you going to sit there? I don't want to waste my time driving out to this home and selling a small repair job, right? Look at that job like, oh, it's a small job. But if I drive out there and I create a difference, it's a difference for not only me, but my company. So it's a difference for Landmark Roofing. And you end up not only getting a repair check, but you also get a referral from that homeowner. So I think honestly, it all stems down to from the point of time that you see that lead, the job description, and the name of the homeowner.
And we are talking so much about the experience. What is branding, marketing, and sales to you? Because I
Brand
see
and
most
marketing
people confuse it. Yeah.
Yeah. So brand Branding and marketing to me is the big thing. The faces of your company is the first thing that people see. So whether you're at a home show, you're on the internet, the pictures that you're posting, people are seeing the initial people before they're even looking at your website, right? Or like if they're on the website, say you have photos of your team on that website. And for me, I don't know how I'm trying to put this into words, but for me, it comes down to what impression do you want that branding to give?
I feel that most marketing agencies or marketers itself, even they are in-house, they have complicated branding and marketing so much that companies are in 1 month they are trying this and next month they are trying something else. However, branding and marketing are the easiest thing that you can do as a company, because all it takes is that you just have to show up and you have to tell people that this is who we are, these are the things that we stand for, these are the things that make us different from all the competition. And if you still have any doubts or any obstacles in your way of working with us, this is our guarantee or this is our offer that kicks out all these obstacles, and you can simply work with us. This sums up all this branding and marketing, and you just have to show it up in the right way. Now, this instantly sets you apart as well. And it all comes down also, if you have this, you will automatically have the best website, because you will automatically have the best online presence too, because back in your mind, you are focusing upon how to craft the best experience and how to tell people that this is who we are and these are the things that we stand for. And this is what made us start our company. This is the problem that we are here to fix.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. And it's finding that what you believe in and sticking to that and not constantly changing your marketing, not constantly changing your branding, because that can get very confusing to a homeowner as well. I mean, not even homeowners, I mean, other business owners, and they're like, okay, what's this? And then they're like, wait, now they're offering this. And it's standing behind the words that you throw out.
And that comes to social media as well, because most roofing companies, they have been inactive on social media for like 4 years, 5 years. You will see them on Instagram or Facebook. You will see that the last post was from 2021 or 2022 probably. And that leads people into thinking that whether this company is in business right now or they have just collapsed. So how important do you feel is content creation and showing up? Because I see that you are creating videos almost every single day.
Yeah, and I've been slacking recently because of the terrible weather here, but there's no excuses for slacking. But it's very important. And, it's not only about throwing out content that, look at this big roof I completed, look at this big roof I completed. It's about throwing out content that can actually be helpful to someone trying to make a decision. Because you can Google the word roof, and going down the line, you will see within the first 5 minutes, 10 different opinions on roofing, right? And when it comes to someone that has absolutely no idea about a roofing system, it can get very confusing very quickly. So the more that of the content that you can throw out about your company or about your product that familiarizes yourself with that product and giving the information on that product, I definitely think that would be the way to go as far as throwing out content.
That's interesting. Because I agree with you. Most people, what they are doing is that they are just putting on their roof, okay, that this is the 5,000 square feet roof I did. This is the shingle that I used. But they are not actually highlighting the problems that people are facing, and they are not educating people. That's what I saw in your videos as well. What would be the lesson or advice you want to give to those roofers who are just posting pictures of their roofs without any context,
And to like each their own, but if they're looking to grow their social media, most people know what 5,000 square footage is, right? But when it comes down to a roof, you start with all these roofing terms like square, and maybe like the name of the shingle, the brand of the shingle. Instead of just throwing those light, loose terms out there, go into depth about it. So it's like when I'm in the home and I explain to a homeowner, your roof is 50 square. And they're like, "What?" And I'm like, so I explain to them. I take time to actually sit down and explain to them this is what a square footage is, and breaking down the products that you're going to use. So instead of throwing out there, you're going to use an Owens Corning shingle, break it down to an Owens Corning shingle that is made with fiberglass, and maybe throw in a little bit of verbiage about what fiberglass is or how the Owens Corning fiberglass is made, and actually putting some comfortability behind those terms, because it comes to when you click on a roofing company's website, it comes down to those loose terms. Excuse me. And I think that can kind of be used as a hook and sink line as well to get that homeowner interested to start asking questions about those. But like I said, it also comes down to once they get on there, you're going to set apart from those other 10 companies that are on Google that have the same exact terms, no matter what website they click.
And if you have seen that episode with Andrew, he told me that he had a lady who wanted their company to do her roof in Missouri. And why that happened is I feel that she might have posted their video on Instagram or Facebook, and she considered, okay, that this is a very good company and I need them to do my roof. And if you are creating valuable content, even if you are in Ohio and someone sees you in Florida, the least you are doing is that you are providing value to that homeowner, so they can ask questions to their roofers or whatever contractor they are considering for their roof. That is what happens when you are putting out educational content.
Correct. And I love Andrew. I keep trying to get him to give me some of his secrets on his social media content because I'm still trying to catch up with him. But yeah, no, the proof is in the pudding. That is exactly what happens, because if you're setting yourself apart so much, she's in a different state and she's seeing social media content. It just proves what that content can do for you, because she, just by seeing his content alone, she felt comfortable enough for him to come from out of state and put on her roof. And that is a prime example of what great content can do. And if one thing I really, really like about his content is that he actually, like I explained, he breaks it down. He doesn't just post videos on the Owens Corning shingle or the CertainTeed shingle or the GAF shingle. He's posting content, a video with those shingles, and whether it's in the description or whether it's in the video itself, he's explaining how these systems actually work. It's the same with the vents that he uses. You don't see a video posted or a picture posted about those vents that doesn't have backing behind it stating, this is how it works, this is why we use it.
I also read that in your bio, because I didn't have much about you on the internet. All I had was a post in which you had mentioned all your hobbies, and I had to scroll down through your profile to actually get to that post and do the research about you. That's where I read that you are fond of books as well. However, I also know that you like horses. That's my personal hobby. That we'll get back to that later on. For now, let's just talk about books. What kind of books do you read?
Boy, I am a huge mystery novel person. I love anything to do, like podcasts, books. I mean, Dateline. I probably listen to way too much Dateline in my drive time, but I'm a huge sucker for those mystery novels.
Do you read any kind of business books as well?
I do. I mix it up every once in a while. One of my favorites is Emotional Intelligence 2.0. I highly recommend that book, especially if you're in the sales industry. And another book that I'm currently halfway through right now is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. That is a very, very great book to read for just anybody. And as my coach Sean, he would say, it's not a book to be read. It's a book to be studied. And I never really understood what he meant by that until I started reading through it. And then I'm like, yeah, that's definitely the point here.
And what are the top 3 recommendations in terms of books that you would give to someone who is in roofing sales or who is a sales rep?
Books. So it would be Emotional Intelligence 2.0. There is a book by Rodney Webb. Hang on, I have it in my drawer here. I'll just grab it real quick. This is one of the first books when I started doing my sales training. This is one of the first books that I ever read for sales. It's very basic. But if you have no experience with sales at all, I highly recommend reading this book. And then, number third on the line, even though I'm only halfway done with it, would probably be Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And then there was I'm going to throw in an extra one there for you because I really like it. It's a book by, me and my 80-year-old memory here. Sometimes I wonder how I'm a sales rep. There is a book, The Gap in the Gain. And
Capital gain.
The Gap and the Gain.
Gap. Okay, the
Yes.
gap in the gain.
Yes, and kind of what we were talking about earlier is when you're in that scarcity mindset or that scarcity place in your life of pulling yourself out of there and learning and experiencing if you're actually living in the gap or if you're living in the gain.
I actually have a recommendation or advice for you that even I didn't understand Think and Grow Rich when I read it for once. You must read it for like 2 or 3 times to actually gain the true sense or knowledge from that book, because this book is amazing. I do have a recommendation for you. It's actually here. This book, The Richest Man in Babylon. You will learn so much about financial. I can even send this to you in our chat.
Yeah, if you want to send me the link or I am always open to reading because I feel like it's a good way to expand your mind and learn new things. And if you're not constantly learning, you're getting left behind.
Most of the times you are searching for some answers and you are not getting them anywhere. You just open the book and the page that you have to read that day has that answer for you. It's such a coincidence, but it happens to book readers. Happens to me. I don't know if it happens to you or not.
Yes, 100%. I'm a Christian, so my go-to book is my Bible, and especially when I'm searching for answers, is all you have to do is take that initial step and open that book, and you'll be surprised at what you can find.
Yeah. So let's just head towards the end of this interview. I want to ask you, how can someone in sales make their day productive, or what schedule should someone follow in order to be the most productive in roofing sales? Like, what time of the day should be the follow-up time? What time of the day should they reach out to the new prospects or new homeowners? And what time of the day they should focus on organizing files and all this CRM and stuff?
So the way I like to do it, I like to do my follow-ups either over lunch hour or anytime after 4 p.m. I mean, I'll put a snap on it. I usually don't like to contact someone at 8 p.m. because let's be real, it's Tuesday night and you just got off work, you had a long day, and you really don't want to talk to the salesperson at 8 o'clock at night. So I like to keep my follow-ups either between 11 and 12 a.m. to p.m. or 4 p.m. to maybe like 6 p.m. Also, this might come across a bit lazy, but I like to send text messages. I like to ask the homeowner permission at the appointment. I'm like, listen, I know phone calls are annoying. Can I shoot you a text message? And if they ghost me through text message, then the next day I will shoot them a phone call. But I like to send out quick, simple, easy little text messages, and 95% of the time I get a text message back before I get a phone call back. And if they are looking to move forward in that space, after they text you, they'll invite you to actually call them. They're like, oh yeah, we actually had a few more questions that arose. Can you give us a call? So at that point, you can either reschedule a time to call them or reschedule a time to actually go and initially revisit them. And I find that if you catch them in those time frames, they're not at work, so they can actually talk to you. If they are at work, they're on their lunch break between 11 and 1, so they can talk to you there. And I find that the actual amount of phone calls that get received and returned is a lot better than calling someone during the middle of the day and leaving them a voicemail and waiting for them to return their call, because they're probably going to put your voicemail in their trash bin. So I like to run appointments. So if we have a lead that comes into office through marketing, we schedule our leads for 9 a.m., 11 a.m., 1 p.m., 3 p.m., and 5 p.m. That would be our block. So we're like a block schedule routine. So I like to run those appointments. Say I have run at 9 a.m. Maybe I'll take out 11 a.m. so I can do my follow-ups. If I have a lot of follow-ups to do. If I don't have a lot of follow-ups to do, I'll keep that block open for the 11 a.m., run that a.m., and do my follow-ups in the evening. Now, if you're a company that is more of like a phone call close, you're going to need to schedule probably both of those blocks in order to get all of your phone calls completed and to have the most accurate response on those. And it comes down to, in between those appointments, other things that you have to get done. I like to go to job sites and get drone footage or create content for social media. So in between those appointments, I'm looking, okay, this install is happening here. Which appointment is this closest to? It all comes down to saving your time and saving your energy. And it's not all about doing it all on the outside. You have to do it on the inside as well, because you can run crazy from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. at night every day of the week and still not see your close rate increase.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't lead down to the close rate either. I'm just talking from a sales perspective here. I mean, even as a business owner, if your inside energy is not meeting your outside energy and you're running around crazy all day, you're getting absolutely nothing done. At the end of the day, you're going to get home and the only thing you're going to say is, man, I'm tired. Is this really worth it?
Yeah. And the way I see this is that this is a way of procrastination as well, because you are spending your time in the activities that are not producing you any results, all for the sake of this satisfaction that you want to give to yourself that, okay, I have done the work from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., but still I didn't get any results. And you don't want to focus on the fact that none of the work that you did can bring any results because you have been just focusing in the wrong direction.
Correct. And with the block scheduling, one thing that I found out is that you can easily weed out the things that are not helping you, the things that are hindering you, the things that are draining your energy, unnecessarily things, basically. And with the block scheduling, when you have all that written down, it's easiest to pinpoint, okay, this is where I went wrong on this. I need to eliminate that, or maybe push that to a different. I've already seen some guys that block out Friday, like the whole day Friday, and just like make it their office day, so to speak. So they're in the office making phone calls, doing catch-up paperwork, things like that. And so it makes it a lot easier to conservatize that energy that's just kind of floating out there with nothing to do. So you're wasting it on things that either A, are wasting your time, or B, not making you money.
Okay. I'm interested actually to know more about this block strategy because I didn't get it, to be honest. If let's just say you have 100 leads and you have 7 days, would you walk me through that? How would you process these leads via this block strategy in the 7 days? You can increase the time span as well. Like,
okay, so
how does this actually work? Yeah.
Yeah, I hope you're using the number 100 as just an example, because
Yeah.
no personally can run 100 leads in 1 week and survive
Let's
that.
just say 10.
So personally, don't like to run more than 2 appointments a day. On my busy days, I will run 3 leads a day. And the reason why is because you're rushing from appointment to appointment. And for me, it's when I'm initially at that appointment, I'm thinking about my next one because I see I'm running out of time. So I like to run a 9, a 12, or a 1, and then a 3. So depending on how close those leads are. So for block schedule, here's what I do. 6 a.m. I'm going to get up, all right? 7, I'm going to work out, all right? this is just a sample. Like, you can do whatever you want to do. 7, I'm going to work out. By 8 o'clock, I know that I'm going to have breakfast, be getting ready, make sure my phone's charged, make sure my tablet's charged, get all my things around, get in the car by 8:30, none the latest, depending on where the lead is, driving to my appointment. 9 a.m., maybe I'm there for an hour, maybe I'm there for 2 hours. You never really know until you get there. And so after that, say I leave that house by hopefully 11 a.m., no latest. Gonna have on my calendar, I'm gonna go get some lunch. If after I get lunch, I'm gonna have a few minutes that I can make a few phone calls if I have to. Maybe I have some emails to respond to. Maybe I have to go here and pick something up for my 1 p.m. appointment. So no later than 12:30, I know that I'm gonna have to be back on the road for my next appointment. And I just find that it helps me way more is if I write those things out, I can't fall into this lazy, productive state of in between my 11 and my 1 o'clock, I'm going to go get some lunch and I'm just going to sit there and do absolutely nothing. And once you actually get into the routine of it, you actually find that at the end of it, and between the appointments, it doesn't happen every day, but you actually have some free time. So you can use that free time to essentially do what you want to do. I like to maybe relax for a couple minutes and reset my mind frame for the next appointment. And I just find, the block scheduling is a tremendous help to me. It might seem weird, but actually writing it down helps your brain focus on it more. But like I said, you're not falling back into that vegetative state of doing absolutely nothing.
And how do you see the use of AI into all of this? Like, are you using any AI apps or something like that into your process as well?
Yeah, so I honestly think that AI can change this industry majorly. Even the use of technology in this industry is just the things that we can do to provide these homeowners with certain videos, certain pictures, certain games, certain apps, whatnot. I think it's truly amazing. I do use ChatGPT for my emails. It helps me respond to my emails a whole lot faster. Homeowners seem to have a better sense of understanding. It's fresh, it's clean, so to speak. So once again, that sets you apart. I mean, you want to be professional about it, but you don't want to use these, like I said, loose roofing terms that homeowners can't understand. So it definitely helps break that down quite a bit. And especially I've noticed a huge turnaround in responses from insurance companies on claims with using GPT, and I think the options with that is unlimited.
Okay, tell me more about that. Like, how would the turnaround increase? I'm guessing that you are saying that the turnaround gets higher when you are using ChatGPT in your claims, right?
Yes. So by using ChatGPT with my claims, when the insurance company responds to you, so basically insurance companies have no idea about a roof whatsoever. Those desk adjusters, they're just there for the numbers. And by using ChatGPT to break down the terms and verbiage, so to speak, it can transfer our verbiage into their verbiage so they can actually get a sense of understanding of what we're talking about. And it's easier for them to basically pay out, so to speak, when they can get a sense of understanding and you're not just kind of running after them with this. And it's kind of like, for an example, like doing a repair test for an insurance company. They know what a repair test is, but they have no idea on how the shingle actually functions and works. So putting our verbiage of the way the shingle functions into ChatGPT and telling, hey, AI, change this verbiage over to insurance verbiage, and it'll do that for you. And you send that back to them, and they can actually understand it. I've seen it work both ways on one of my claims, but I highly recommend using it to respond.
That's a great way, actually, because if they understand this, it can do so much for the homeowners.
Correct. It does a lot for the homeowners.
Okay. What brought you to horses?
Yeah, so what actually brought me to horses, and I could talk about this all day. So I grew up riding horses, pony. I had a childhood pony, and I never grew out of the phase. Everybody told me, You'll grow out of it. You'll grow out of it. It's fine. And I guess out of
Uh,
the siblings, I am the only one that got stuck with it and kind of stuck with it, so to speak. And my brother, he had a girlfriend and she was into barrel racing. And she was like, "Oh, you ride horses?" She's like, "Do you barrel race?" I'm like, "No, I've never done it before." She's like, "Let's buy you a barrel racing horse." So I went out and I bought me a barrel racing horse. And that was, I think I was 12, 11 when I bought my first barrel racing horse. And I started
uh,
barrel racing for myself, and it's something that I highly enjoyed. And now I kind of got my own little business out of it. I rodeo professionally, and I train horses, barrel horses preferably, but I will train all types of horses for other individuals. And it's just something that I've always enjoyed doing. It's kind of like a roof, you break that roof down that has a problem, and you fix it, and then you build it up, and it's something completely new. And it's the same with the horse. I get some of these horses in that they've never even been touched before, or maybe they have a problem that their homeowners or their owners just can't fix. And it's the reward to me of being able to break that down and find the solution to the problem, and then taking that horse and making it into something, and then the owners take it back and it starts winning in the industry. And it's just it's very rewarding, and it's just something that I've always really enjoyed doing.
how do you find horses as animals? Like, how do they behave differently? Because I haven't had them. I feel so affectionate about horses that I plan to get them one day in my life. But I just have so much love for them. As I don't have them right now, I want to know what makes them different from other animals.
What really sets the horse apart for me from other animals is their willingness. For them to give their complete trust to you, and they weren't born. God didn't create them for us to ride, like to work, to do what we do with them. And their willingness to, I mean, a 2,500-pound animal to essentially, like, I train mine to ride with leg pressure, leg cues, and essentially for them to surrender their complete trust to you, that they allow you to control them with your feet. And it's just that willingness to learn, to me, is just incredible. And they're much like humans, actually, because they have their own personality. You rarely find one horse that needs to be trained the way the next horse needs to be,
Hmm?
because it's hard to explain, but so if you're training a horse, you gotta approach that horse a different way than the next one, just like you need to approach that homeowner a different way to the next one, because their personalities are different, and the way that they are used to things and the way that their brain is structured works a different way than the previous one. And it's just something that I continue to learn about it, just like I continue to learn in sales. It's almost the same with the homeowner industry. It's finding what that homeowner needs and what works for that homeowner and providing it for them. The same when training a horse. One horse may need a little bit more pressure for training than the other one.
And the reason I am bringing your hobbies into the conversation is because I feel that the younger generation now, you are in your 20s, I'm in your 20s, we are facing so much anxiety, depression, and all these issues that shouldn't be there. And all of this is because when someone tries to work, they shift all their focus to work and they forget having a personal life and hobbies and a space where they can just forget everything and relax. And this imbalance creates all those feelings. And so my last question to you would be, how important do you feel is the role of having a hobby like this is in your life, and how it strengthens you or empowers you deal with the challenges? Because at times you don't have anyone around you, but you have your horses or whatever hobby you have. And when you give your time to that hobby or that activity, it immediately takes your mind off from all the problems that you are having. That's what I personally feel. Say, how would you describe that, having a hobby like this or having something that can shift your focus for some time and can give you a time to relax or just take some time off. How important this is in someone's life.
Yeah, I think it's really, really important because you can, like our discussion we had earlier, y- you gotta have something to release that pin up energy, because that pin up energy will stay in your mind, and once you get in that scarcity mindset, um, and you have no way to physically just get rid of it. It's like to the people that work out, like I don't do it consistently, I probably should. How you feel afterwards, you feel refreshed, you feel renewed. And if you don't have something that you can essentially fall back on, and you put all of your time and all of your energy into this one thing, we're human, like I said, we're all going to fail eventually, and once your brain gets to that point where everything becomes foggy, you're tired, you're worn out, to have something to fall back on, to just take your mind off of that and to regroup and to refocus, and coming in back in with that fresh thinking of like, okay, it's not so bad. Once I blew some steam off, like I can think about it clearly now. And so if you work your life away and you don't have something to fall back on, I highly recommend that you find something that you truly enjoy doing, that you can truly relax and just basically essentially be yourself as a person while doing it for that reason. So you can just unwind.
Any signing off notes or advice that you would like to give to anyone who is listening or watching to this episode?
Yeah, never quit learning, because I feel like you can cap yourself where you're at if you try to quit learning, because you can consider yourself an expert in any industry, but everything's constantly changing, especially in the world nowadays. And the more you learn, the more knowledge you get. And without knowledge, frustration sets in. I learned that from a very well-known horse trainer that I know. And it makes sense, because once you get frustrated, if you truly sit back and think about it, you are in a place in your life where you don't really know what to do, and you don't have any sense of how to handle that, so to speak. So yeah, never quit learning, always have an open mind, and never be scared to reach out to anyone. There are plenty of people out there. I know the world to me is very intimidating, but there are always people out there that are willing and ready to help you if you just ask for
Thank you so much for
it.
your time, Leah. It was great having you
Yeah,
on
of
the show.
course.
Hope the audience would
I
enjoy the
really enjoyed
conversation as
being
well.
here.
Thank you.